Hey everyone, and welcome to the Gibbs Spotlight. My name is Haley Sandell, and I am a visual communication intern here at the Gibbs College of Architecture. Today, I'll be speaking with Liz Romero. She is a senior interior design major with a minor in architecture. Hey Liz.
Hey.
So, where are you from? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your life leading up to Gibbs?
Yeah, so I am from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was born in Georgia, but I was raised in Tulsa most of my life. And I grew up there and I went to Booker T. Washington High School. And since college, I've basically been living in Norman and have been staying here and hopefully would like to stay in Oklahoma City afterwards.
Nice. Have you found any firms that interest you in Oklahoma City?
I have, yes. I actually have been able to interview with my top choices for who I would like to work with after college, and I was able to interview with them for internships. However, all of those got canceled due to quarantine. So
Uh,
hopefully I'll be able to reapply for a job after graduation.
yeah, that's awesome that you got to interview, though. You already have your foot in the door.
Exactly. It's been a great experience and just being able to learn a little bit more about each firm and get those personal connections within them.
That's awesome. So, how did you decide you wanted to come to OU?
So basically, in college, I was torn between OU and OSU just because I wanted to stay in state, and those two I thought were two of the best options for me for interior design. It wasn't until my senior year of high school that I was able to reach out to um, one of the director of interior design at the time, and she was able to help me with connecting to a designer in the Tulsa area to shadow for a day because I had reached out and said, hey, this is what I think I want to do, but is there any way you can help me figure out if this is what I want to go into college to study? And she was like, yeah, sure. She's like, let me set you up with a designer that I know in Tulsa. And so I shadowed her for a day and fell in love with the industry. And so because of how willing OU and its faculty was able to help me just even as a high school student, I thought that it would be the best decision to go to a school that's already caring for its future students.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Gibbs is fantastic at setting up networking opportunities.
It is wonderful.
So, what was it like shadowing a designer as a high school student? Was it intimidating at all, or?
In the beginning, it was very intimidating just because I didn't know any of the softwares they were using, but I didn't really know anything about the profession enough to hold a conversation about it while I was shadowing. But because I was able to shadow the main interior designer there as well as some of their other designers, it was eye-opening to see how they're all different within their design processes and how they each specialize in something different. And because of that, it helped me realize that, hey, you don't have to be amazing at sketching, but if you're great at space planning or something else, then that's okay. And so that kind of gave me reassurance that I don't have to be perfect all around to go into this industry.
Yeah, definitely. And it gives you room for improvement and you get to see how different designers do different things.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one thing I really liked. I was able to see all their different styles that they do and their different design processes. So it was very eye opening and something that I kept in my mind as I got into college that fall.
Yeah. What was one of the coolest things that you shadowed from them?
There was this one guy, I can't remember his name, but he was one of the older interior designers and he specialized in hand renderings of different buildings, whether it's for work, but also outside of work. And so I was able to see his process on how he sketched because I know that he had done some work for the Better Homes and Gardens show. And so he would sketch out some homes from that in Tulsa. And all of his renderings were absolutely wonderful. Like, I wish I could sketch like that someday. But just seeing how he took that and applies it not just to his career, but also his personal life and his hobbies, it encouraged me to find something like that that I want to do as well.
That's really cool. Nice. So, what current projects are you working on? I know everything's really up in the air right
Yeah.
now, but
So I currently don't have an internship, so I'm not really working on any like official projects. However, I am working with actually my roommate right now. We're both in the interior design program, and we are working on a Northwest Oklahoma City house that is being renovated. A lot of it, the interior spaces have been demoed, and the girl wanted to reach out to us, say, "Hey, this is my vision. This is what I want. Can you guys put it into a physical rendering for me so I can actually like view what I want to have for my house?" And
yeah.
so we're both sure, like we'll go ahead and go over there, take some measurements, take some videos and images of the house and what you want done. And so we've been working on that. We should be able to finish by the end of this month, hopefully, and get those sent over to her and hopefully see her dream house come to life.
Yeah. Dang, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool because like, you're able to actually see it in person. Really, this is my first residential project. I've typically been working on commercial projects, but to be able to take a step away from that and do residential, it's just a change of pace, and I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll be really cool to like design somebody's house for them. That's really exciting.
Exactly. Yeah. Just to be able to go over there and see the process of it is going to be really eye opening.
Definitely. So, speaking of projects, what's a project that you've created or worked on at GCA that you're most proud of?
So last semester, so this spring, I worked on a project for the Griffin Memorial Hospital located in Norman. And this project, it was a group project. So I worked with my friend Tia Thorson on this project for the entire semester. And for this project, we were able to go to the hospital and see two of their buildings that they have on site and how they wanted to renovate it because those two spaces were for their consumers as well as their employees and their residents that come there to study. And so we were able to tour it and see everything that was basically wrong with it and what they wanted to fix, improvements because they want more people to be drawn, whether it's employers, residents, but also consumers there to get the help that they need. And so it's really eye opening just to see what the site was about, but also being able to see the different spaces and having a budget for that project was very eye opening because we were limited on all the different things we could do, but also take into account what different things needed to be done, whether or compared to having it be a want for the buildings, since they
Yeah.
do have a budget on those. But it's very cool. We were able to present to several of their board members as well as employees there and receive their feedback on what they liked, what they didn't like, anything that they had questions on. And so being able to present to them compared to just a table full of like full of our professors like we've done in the past, it was really eye-opening and helps you later on in the industry because you are speaking directly to those clients and catering to their needs and their wants when it comes to the design.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, and especially with Griffin Memorial Hospital, it
Yes.
has so much history.
Yes, there's a lot of history. We were able to actually view the original floor plans and all the architectural documents from the original building plans. And so that was
Wow.
really just seeing that part of history because it is such a big part of the city of Norman's history as well as Oklahoma. It was very eye opening just to be able to see that and have access to it. It was basically like an honor to be able to work on this project and have them come to OU and the Gibbs College of Architecture to receive this help.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Did you get to choose this project or were you placed on it or
Yeah. So we were all placed, my entire studio class, we were placed on this project and we all got into groups of two to come up with our different designs. And then so each group was able to present to Griffin Memorial and show them their ideas. And I think Griffin, they were able to see what they liked from each different project. So that way, whenever they do have the money and the funds to go ahead and move on with this project, they can pull their ideas from what we were able to present to them.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Dang, that's really cool. Congrats for like doing this. Like
Thank
that's such a
you.
huge project.
Yeah, it was an entire semester worth of work, but it was worth it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Definitely. So, what's your favorite thing about Gibbs in general? A very broad question, but
I was like, there's so many different things I enjoy about it. I think one of my favorite is the community, just within each different program, but as well as the college as a whole. All of my courses I know have been with like the same like small sizes and has allowed us to grow together as a graduating class, but also just the college in general. At like I feel like there's a community within it. I remember one night we were in this basement in the computer lab, tons of different majors in their project deadlines. Everybody's pulling all nighters, and the dean, so Hans, he was able to come down there and check in on us. He was like, okay, well, you guys don't stay up too late. Make sure you get some
oh,
sleep. And so just being able to see the dean of your college come in and check in on everybody and make sure everyone is doing good and getting the rest that they need, it shows how well of a community there is, not just within the students, but also with like the faculty of the college.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hans is great. He was a professor for my Methods 1 class and he does a great job.
He is,
It's cool to
yes.
see that about Gibbs.
Yes, I remember I took one of his classes my freshman year. He was teaching cultures of collaboration, and he was one of the professors that taught that semester. And it was just eye opening to hear everything that he had to say and the advice he gave, and just everything about him. He's wonderful.
Definitely. So, when did you first become interested in interior design and also in your minor of just general architecture?
Yeah, so I've always had an interest in design. I didn't really know it at the time. Growing up, I would always have like wrapping paper and I would come up with different floor plans and space planning of like my dream bedroom and dream house. And I didn't think anything of it as at the time because like I was a child. But getting older, I went through different wants with what I wanted my career to be in. And it wasn't until high school that out of nowhere, I was just like, you know what? I think I want to study architecture. And the more I thought about it and the more I looked into it, I was just like, well, I don't know if this is exactly for me, but like something along the lines of it that is within that same industry. And so my dad actually was the one who suggested to me interior design. He's like, you know, some interior designers that I've worked with in the past. He was like seeing how creative you use like your brain and stuff. You use the creative side of it a lot, and just seeing you growing up, he's like, I think this is something that would interest you, and you work along with architects. And so I was like, okay, like interesting. I never thought about that. So I looked into it, and that's when I was able to contact Maya, who was the director of interior design at the time, and speak with her. And after shadowing, I was like, okay, this is actually something I think I can do and I have interest in. So it wasn't until high school, basically.
Yeah. I think it's funny how like there are things you do as a kid like
Hmm.
designing floor plans and like looking at stuff like that, like how that like ends up being your major later in life and you're like, "Wow, I was destined to be here since the beginning."
Exactly, yeah. And I've stuck with interior design since my freshman year too. So being able to just see myself not have a change in what I want to do in my future, it's definitely helped and kind of just an all around circle since what I was doing as a child.
Yeah. And that's definitely reassuring that you are where you're meant to be.
Exactly, yes.
That's awesome. So, what advice would you give prospective students of the interior design program?
See, the number one advice I would give would be to time manage. Manage your time well. It's going to take some time to adjust, not only to the college life, but also being an interior design student. Your schedule is not like many other majors. You have studio courses that last a couple hours sometimes, and you pull all nighters, especially close to project deadlines. And just to be able to give that time that you need to your major, it's going to help you in the long run, and it's going to show in the projects you complete as well how much time you dedicate to it compared to rushing to finish something last minute. I would also give the advice to like I highly recommend joining organizations within the College of Architecture immediately your freshman year. They always tell you that, and I know it can be intimidating, and I wish I would have done it. I regret not joining some of the organizations I'm in now sooner than I could have, but being part of those organizations like the Interior Design Student Association and several others that are national organizations, they help you so much in the long run, but also as a student, like you are able to get that advice and that help you need from those who have been in your shoes. And I feel like you're more connected to getting that help when you're part of these organizations.
Yeah, definitely. And then you have that whole network of people around you
Exactly,
supporting you.
yes. My network has grown tremendously since I was able to join these different organizations and just the different events I've been able to go to, the reps I've been able to meet, and CEUs I've been able to attend. It's the networking is what gets you to become a better designer as well as connect you to get that job you want in the future.
Yeah. And when else will you have this chance to join student associations if not in college?
Exactly, yes. And it's not just, I know colleges have tons of organizations to choose from, but having an organization that's specific to your major that's going to help you once you graduate as well as throughout your college career, it's very beneficial. Like I can't even explain how much it's helped me in the past. Like it's the reason I was able to get my previous internship is because I was in this organization and had the connections and was able to reach out to those that could help me get there.
Nice. That's fantastic. It's a great use of resources.
Exactly, yes.
So you graduate in the spring of 2021, right?
Correct.
Nice. So what plans do you have for after graduation? And are you preparing to enter the industry or?
Yeah, so right after graduation, I plan to hopefully have a job. I'm going to start applying next spring to different firms within Oklahoma City as well as Dallas, Texas. And so I'd like to work for a medium sized firm. I'm not too picky, but I want to work for an architectural firm that specializes in corporate as well as education or higher education projects. And so a lot of those firms, they specialize in different like sections of interior design. And so I want something that has multi-use within their projects. And so there's several in Oklahoma City as well as Dallas that I'm interested in. So I'll most likely be applying to those once the time gets closer. And I want to enter the industry as soon as I can after graduation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what are some of your top firms and like what are some of the projects that they've worked on?
Yeah, so some of my top firms that I am interested in is Reese Associates, as well as Beck Design Group and GH2. Those are several of my top three, as well as Smith Group, which is connected, which is in Dallas actually. And so
Cool.
those are some different ones that I'd like to. I've been able to speak to and interview with people from each of those firms. And so being able to have that connection already and learning more about those firms has helped reassure me that, okay, I actually could see myself interning here. I could see myself working here. So I'm really excited to take that next step forward with applying for a full-time position.
Yeah. Time to get into the real world.
Exactly. I'm ready.
Yeah. It'll all pay off.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm excited about too. All the hard work the past several years, it's all going to pay off.
Definitely. Well, I think that is all I have for you today. Do you have any closing comments?
No, not at all. Just enjoy your time in college, and I highly recommend being part of the Gibbs College of Architecture to any future students.
Well, thank you, Liz. I'm glad I got to talk to you today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks again for listening to the Gibbs Spotlight. Tune in next time to hear more stories from the Gibbs College of Architecture.